Constitution has failed us, or we have failed the Constitution. That question, and why did they do so? In fact, one leading journalist was invited by the president. Then he said, but I know why you would come to Rashtrapati Bhavan. Behind President Sankadar Sarma, inviting a journalist to be made available. I asked Mr. Harish Kare, why did he say so? Against Mr. Narayan. So this is how 1955 as the best diplomat of the country. That man after. So Mr. Narasimha invited his leaders. He said, well, you want to throw me out and bring Mr. Narayan? Fine, all right. But have you ever thought what would happen to Mr. Sankadar Sarma while administering oath to Mr. Narayan? Will he tolerate that? Panditji will collapse while administering oath to Mr. Narayan. I couldn't understand, sir, why would Panditji will collapse? Sarmaji, President of India. He said, यार समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या? Mr. Narayan का caste क्या है? You see, this is. I didn't want to share all these details. So the entrenched position of caste inequality is there everywhere. Right at the top, used to subvert the chances of a person coming from humble backgrounds. So therefore, caste census will expose all these privileges. It's a kind of a scanner, X-ray, or a PET scan, whatever you call it, to locate the reasons behind the problem. Remedy, God knows what remedy is required, I don't know. Completely, try to create a festering sore in society. And that festering sore is deep within. Once we know that, this will in fact take forward the cause of social justice, which is central to the Constitution. So therefore, on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Constitution of India, when the Constitution was adopted and enacted on 26 November 1949, 4 days later, RSS Mouthpiece Organizer wrote, there is no reflection of Manusmriti here. It is a borrowed document, and so on and so forth. So what does Manusmriti represent? Manusmriti represent, even in the wards of cows, buffaloes, oxen are there. Even how many elephants are there? I believe elephant census was kept away from the public domain. And this is it. So that if you are conducting a census of animals, and even Gandhi wanted a census of drunkards, so why not pieces? Owning the
ఐచ్ఛికంగా మానవ హక్కుల రంగంలో పనిచేయడానికి వచ్చినట్టు వ్యక్తులు ముందు ఇది మాట్లాడడం ఇంకా ఇబ్బందికరంగా ఉన్నది. అయినప్పటికీ గొంతు లేని వాళ్లకు గొంతు ఇవ్వటం, అక్కడ జరుగుతున్నటువంటి విషయాలను మన ముందు ఉంచటం, మీ ముందు ఉంచటం, వాటికి ఒక ప్రాధాన్యత కల్పించటం ఒక కర్తవ్యంగా భావించి మేము ఈ పని చేస్తూ ఉన్నాము. ప్రభుత్వం ఒక కాల పరిమితిలో మావోయిస్టులను నిర్మూలించాలన్నటువంటి ఒక భారీ అమానవీయమైనటువంటి లక్ష్యంతో పనిచేస్తూ ఉన్నది. చాలా సంఘటనలు ఈ క్రమంలో వాళ్ళు చేస్తున్నటువంటి మానవ హననం అనండి విషయం బయటికి పోయి మేము మాలాంటి వాళ్ళని వెళ్ళి అడిగితే స్థానిక పోలీసులకు మాకు ఏం తెలియదు, మాకు అలాంటి విషయం ఏది లేదు అని వాళ్ళు తీసుకోవాలి. ఒక 50-60 మంది సుమారు, 7 అందులో చిన్నపిల్లలు, ఆడపిల్లలు. 8 రోజుల తర్వాత 16 నవంబర్లో మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళని వదిలేస్తే అక్కడికి మేము వెళ్ళాం. వాళ్ళు ఏం చెప్తారంటే ఈ 8 రోజుల పాటు చిన్నపిల్లలు గ్రామస్తులందరినీ అక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి సైన్యం వాళ్ళ ఇళ్లలో ప్రతి పని చేయించుకుంటారు, బాత్రూమ్లు కడిగించడంతో సహా. ఎవరి హక్కుల ఉల్లంఘనలు మనకు చాలాసార్లు రిపోర్టే కావు. మామూలుగా మనం చట్టం దృష్టితో ఆలోచిస్తే 23 23(1) ప్రకారం బలవంతంగా పనిచేయించుకోవద్దు, ఇట్లా చెప్పుకుంటూ పోతే వందలాది ఉల్లంఘనలు ఈ ప్రతిరోజు ఛత్తీస్గఢ్లో జరుగుతున్నాయి. మనం ఇలాంటి ఉల్లంఘన అలవాటు పడిపోయినాయంటే మళ్ళీ ఇలాంటిదేనా, ఇంకేదైనా కొత్త విషయాలు లేవా, వేసింది ఎన్ని రోజులు వేయాలి అంటే ప్రభుత్వం అక్కడ అమలు చేస్తున్నటువంటి ఒక విధ్వంసకరమైనటువంటి అవినీతి. రోడ్లు వస్తున్నాయి, ఆ రోడ్ల వల్ల వాళ్ళ యొక్క పనికి వచ్చే చెట్లు కూలిపోతున్నాయి, ఒక గ్రామం నుంచి ఇంకో గ్రామానికి పోవాలంటే ఇబ్బంది అవుతున్నదని ఈ రకమైన ఈ విధ్వంసకరమైన అభివృద్ధి మాకు అవసరం లేదని వాళ్ళు నిరసన తెలియజేస్తూ ఉన్నారు. ఇప్పుడు క్రమంగా ఛత్తీస్గఢ్ ఏమైందంటే ఇంతకుముందులా లేదు, ఒక టూరిజం పెరిగినటువంటి ఒక పరిస్థితి దాపురించింది. ఆ అభివృద్ధిని మా సంస్కృతిని పాడు చేస్తున్నాయని ఈ ఒక 7 అబ్బాయిలు నిరసన తెలియజేస్తూ ఉంటే వాళ్ళను అరెస్ట్ చేసి ఒక 9 రోజులు నిర్బంధిస్తారు. ఇది రిపోర్ట్ కాదు. ఒకప్పటి వాళ్ళ పరిస్థితి ఏమిటంటే ఒక ఆడపిల్లైనా ఒక 4-5 రోజులు వారం రోజుల్లో కనిపించకుండా పోతే మొన్న వాళ్ళ మామ ఇంటికో వాళ్ళ అత్తమ్మ ఇంటికో వెళ్తా అన్నది బహుశా అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి ఉంటుంది వస్తుంది అన్నంత భరోసా పని వాళ్ళు ఉండేటోళ్ళు. కానీ ఈ రోజున ఆ పరిస్థితి క్రమంగా మారిపోతా ఉంది. అంత భద్రతతో కూడినటువంటి జీవన విధానం కేవలం వాళ్ళ అభద్రతకు సంబంధించిన విషయం కాదు, వాళ్ళ సామాజిక జీవితాలు కూడా చిన్న భిన్నమవుతున్నాయి. అంటే వారాంతపు సంతలు జరగద్దు, జరిగినా అవి పోలీస్ పహారాలు జరగాలి, బంధువులు ఎవరు కలిసి ఎక్కడికి వేస్తున్నారు, ప్రతి 4-5 కిలోమీటర్లకు ఒక క్యాంపు, వాళ్ళ మొబిలిటీ మీద నిర్బంధం, ప్రతి చోట ఇబ్బంది. ఇక మీ అందరికీ తెలిసినటువంటి బేలా భాటియా గారిని అక్కడ ఉండొద్దని అంటారు.
True that the security forces are finding a lot more advantage. They're at much greater advantage in reaching straight to the Maoists and killing them. Yeah, there were 2 places where 29 entire set of Maoist cadres have died, and in another instance 35 Maoist cadres, not a single civilian. Yeah, right. Now, one thing very striking amongst the villages over the last year that I found is that the villages are very truthful about what they are sharing. Yeah? At one instant, when 13 people were died, when they rushed to the hospital, and I said that Mara gaya, so was he a Maoist or was he a civilian? Not a cadre. He said, "No, ye cadre jata hai meeting ke liye." Very honest about it. And say that, but this one is very clearly a village. So we also asked the police that they have said amongst the 6 people, 4 people they claim yes, we know he's a Maoist cadre because they come and go and they know them. But 2 were picked up from their homes. They were killed because they were in the forest. So can we acknowledge that in that ambush 2 civilians died? No. All of them are Maoists. Okay, and all of them are given a reward. And that is another troubling part, is that they have started now declaring rewards for the dead Maoists. And when you declare reward, and what happens to the reward? I have a story on that, I've published it, where they are actually distributing this entire reward amongst the core team, or the police team which has gone and killed them. So there was one instance in Chikur-Bhatti, in the very bordering district in Telangana and UP, where there was, in their excitement of breaking news, the police personnel covered a lot of photographs, and in that was one photograph of a man, probably a Maoist, whose hands were tied behind, and he was surrounded by the police people. You could see the boots, yeah? And he was fine because he's kneeling and he's sitting up. And the next news is about six people have been killed. His name is also there. So everybody went on to identify who this particular person was. So basically, so we asked the question. So basically, you could have arrested him. What was the need to kill him? So he was one 8 lakhs worthy Maoist. Yeah? He adds up to that reward thing, which then gets distributed. So this is a very, very dangerous trend. Any kind of questioning with the senior officers, all they say is that no, I mean, it's a large team which goes, we want to incentivize, but not because we are not incentivizing killing as you are trying to suggest. This is all part of we have always had reward. There are promotions involved. There are out of turn promotions involved. There are presidential awards that are involved, but nothing to do with incentivizing killing. But this even the last yesterday, 2 days back, there was a set of people who were killed, and there was of course the Maoist brings in a statement also, but we also compare it with the villagers and actually go to the villages and find out from the family what exactly is the position. So far, the villagers have been very, very truthful about it. I must convey that. So here we have a whole set of violations across it. Now, even as I said, civilians, death, what you have to really lift each of the layers to begin to understand what is happening. And so many arrests. Almost every family in some of the villages, some of the Bijapur and Sukma and Dantewada villages. मैं अब भी तो आया हूँ 2 साल जेल में बैठ के आया हूँ. My God, what happened? Naxali case. Then what happened? Acquit हो गया. Okay, so if people have spent 2 years, 5 years, 8 years in jail, and there was one particular incident where there was a blast, the Maoists had done a blast in a place called Burkapal. Yeah? And how many people died? 23 CRPF personnel died. In fact, I went to the CRPF people to see whether they have been compensated by the government as they claim to, because that is also equally important. 127 men were picked up from the village. All the men from the Burkapal village were taken. 3 years later, NIA case, yeah, National Investigating Agency case. All the 100, one of them died in jail. One was a minor, so he was sent to the juvenile prison. And all of the 125 people were then acquitted because there was no proof against them. 3 years. People, was it 5 years? Okay, 5 years. They went back. People go back to their family, somebody's wife has gone, she's married again, somebody has had a mishap, somebody has died, somebody's parents have died. So 5 years of prison life has given them nothing but, and that they were acquitted. And that too an NIA case. That acquittals happens after 10 years and 8 years and times, but this was one whole village was picked up and taken in custody. But this continues. This really continues even now. So a huge layers are there which needs to be uncovered in order to get the truth out. So there was one instance. I mean, the difficulty is that local journalists find is to be able to put it out in MP, Z MP channels or local newspapers, Patrika or Navbharat and other places. Yeah? That very clearly says that look, don't bring in such. Now, when I narrated this to some of the journalists who are doing YouTube, who are running their own YouTube reporting channels, they're all now scared. Because the mainstream doesn't carry. The YouTube also starts behaving that way, then they're going to have tough time pulling out stories. Yeah? So if the stories don't come, you do not know anything. And if you do not know anything, everything happening is perfect. Yeah? There is development happening, there are roads happening, there are companies coming. And who cares what the Adivasis are saying? Yeah? Who cares where they are going? Yeah? And that will be the end of the story. I mean, we don't know what to make of in the next 5 to 7 years of Basti region, which was considered to be the lungs of India. So, and it is they who had preserved and actually safeguarded the forest. We already you can see that this season has been really bad until they haven't completed harvesting till November, and also because every time there is frost, and they find it very difficult, and the government is increasing the price. In their election campaign, they said now we will buy every quintal for 3,300, then the Congress came with 3,400, then the BJP came for 3,700. But the villagers were not able to sell because the climate has moved differently. They're not able to, and they give a window of 2 weeks to 3 weeks. They're not able to come and sell. On coming and selling is also difficult.